It could. Kieran here says 36 million is an absolute snip. Could have been great yesterday in between the lines instead of Enzo. We need a world-class goalkeeper and striker. On that, like Henry, where do you think Enzo's been made the captain, which means he's predominantly going to start games? So if João Felix is really part of the plans, a player of his ability is going to start. He's going to start in that 10 role. Does that mean Caicedo's being dropped? They're not going to drop Lavia, surely. Lavia looks amazing right now. Who do you think misses out in the starting lineup? Because Enzo's definitely playing. You don't make someone captain and then keep them on your bench. It never happens. So who misses out, Lavia or Caicedo?
Probably Caicedo. But the question I've got is Chelsea have got a lot of attacking options going into the season, and they're not in the Champions League. So the rotation side of things, I think they could put out 11 of their 42 players they've got on loan or in their squad, and they'd beat 99% of the Conference League teams. But I don't think Felix is a better 10 than Palmer or Nkunku. I don't think he's a better wide player than Palmer or Nkunku. And I don't think he's a better 9 than Jackson. So I don't really get where he's going to play. Like, I think Caicedo will probably be the one that's dropped when they bring him in for the first few games. But I'm scratching my head over this in terms of, like, he's got a lot of ability, but he's had one good year in Portugal. Like, if you go through all of his years in Spain, at Atletico, at Barca, you know, even at Chelsea, the highest amount of goals he's got in a season is 8. Like, and you're brought into that team for output. So I don't really get where he's going to play. And as soon as he starts having 2 or 3 bad games, Chelsea's fan base, are like most fan bases, they'll get on his back. So I'm scratching my head over it, to be honest with you. But out of Lavia and Caicedo, I do think it would be Caicedo.
He's got insurance in the bank. Like, Felix, in his 6 months, Chelsea fans loved him. So I'd be very shocked if people turned against him. I'd be very shocked, very shocked.
David, what season was it in again when you loaned?
It wasn't last year. It was the year before last, from January to April, or whenever the season finished.
David, I want a question for you. On Enzo, yeah. Do you think that it's the club that's saying, like, we've spent a lot of money on this guy, we want him to be the main guy, like one of the main guys at Chelsea, like, you got to kind of play this guy, make him captain? Or do you think it's the managers that seem to think this guy should be on the pitch all the time? Because I can't understand. I think if you ask anyone here who you would drop out of the Chelsea midfield right now, I think everyone in here would say Enzo, but they won't say Enzo. So
he's bulletproof in that fan base.
I genuinely think that he must be an amazing trainer. That is one thing. Like, he must be unreal in training, because I think he's really good, but he must do things in training that make managers think he can play further forward. Because I've always thought when Enzo was at his best, it was when he was playing a bit deeper, and it was his progressive passes, like breaking lines from deep midfield into, like, not to the forwards, but like to the midfielders further on. That's what I thought was his best attribute. But he must do things in training where he's like pinging the ball between like 2 midfielders, like through their legs, and it's just going perfectly to Nicholas Jackson, and then he puts it top corner, because for some reason everyone thinks he can play 10, apart from all the fans watching the football. So
he's done something, clearly, because how he's gotten captain as well, on top of everything that's happened, is crazy.
I think the players really like him. I think if he was a bit of a character, and like half the squad liked him and half the squad didn't, and he did what he did in in the summer, then I think there would have been a lot more problems. Someone wouldn't do what they did in the summer, come back, do an apology, and then all the players who are cussing him out be hugging him in the matches like the next day. If he wasn't, because I think they must get on, like they must do. Because even still, if it was me in that position, no one's gonna force me. I can be like, okay, cool, he's here, but I don't have to like him. No one's gonna force. I can't force the love on the pitch. But these players clearly get on with him. So,
David, can I say though, if Maresca continues to play him in that 10, you need to give him the same corner. Not you personally, but Chelsea fans need to give him the same.
I agree.
Because we were hearing all year, Poch is playing him in a 10, Chilwell left wing, whatnot. If he continues to play Enzo in this 10 role, you have to
No,
give him
he's
his
not.
stick.
If he does, he has to get cussed. He has to get cussed.
Yeah,
No, I
100%.
agree with that. And we're going to get on to Chelsea and their play a little bit later. Obviously, some other big. We're going to come back to Chelsea a bit later in the show, so stay with us. Another big bit of transfer news today, Nobbins. Gundogan wants to leave Barcelona.
He's coming home.
Yes, and City have now made. I mean, this interesting report from Fabrizio's confirmed that City have made an approach. On top of that Barca journalist, that Gerard, whatever his name is, has stated that Barcelona have wanted a swap deal with Rodri. It's been rejected, and now you guys are calling in your debt on the Ferran Torres deal. Otherwise, you're going to basically take them to court over the bad debt. That's just what he said on his YouTube channel. Somebody sent me the link, but Ilkay Gundogan could be coming home. Nobbins, how do you feel about that one?
Yeah, well, I've been saying for like a year now that City need a Gundogan replacement, and as it transpires, the perfect Gundogan replacement was Gundogan all along. Who would have thought? There was a pretty significant Gundogan-sized hole in our squad last season. I know we won the league despite that, but there were still nevertheless big problems at City. As I say, we didn't sign a replacement. We tried to sign Bellingham, didn't work. Tried to sign Rice, didn't work. Tried to sign Paquetá, didn't work. Brought in Núñez, panic buy, in my opinion. And now, nearly the end of the transfer window, are we getting Bruno Guimaraes? Are we not? Are we getting X-player? Are we not? And it would literally be, from a sentimental perspective, obviously, but also just from a genuine tactical perspective as well. As long as the deal is structured well, like it's a short-term thing, rather than like a multi-year deal thing. It's like a 1 year, 2 years at the max. It's like a perfect signing, to be honest. You sign him now, and then next summer he either leaves or he becomes more of a squad player, and you bring in the long-term replacement, whether that's Bruno Guimaraes, Adam Wharton, whoever. If we sign him, I will, because I've been 50-50 on who's going to win the title, Arsenal or City. I haven't committed either way yet. I've been waiting for the transfer window to end. And if we make that signing,
is that you, Ches? Sorry, I'm just used to Ches telling me he's going to play first for a decision. Sorry.
Well, I'll say it now. If we sign Gundogan, I'll be very convinced that City win the title and win it quite comfortably.
Can I ask? Do you think Gundogan coming in? I hear the sentimental side, and I actually rate him, and I wouldn't even be mad at Arsenal getting him alongside Moreno.
Yeah, you wish. Chill out.
But do you worry that he comes back and he's had another year added to his age and that playing in Spain, and that comes back to Premier League and he's not as impactful for you?
No, I watched some Barcelona last season, and I also watched the Euros, and he was one of Germany's best players. He still got it. He's going to be 34 in October. This is not a washed player. This is not an old player. This is not like a player coming back for purely sentimental reasons. He's still one of the best box-to-box midfielders in the world at the end of the day. As I say, this is not someone who's past his past his best, but he's not like in this ridiculous amount of decline. He is, as I say, one of the best box-to-box midfielders in the world, brilliant box crasher that can play in every single phase of the game. 6, 8, 10 doesn't really matter. And he provides that balance to City squad. As I said, the only question marks I would have on it are length of the deal. It's got to be a short-term deal, and it also must not impact Foden's minutes centrally, because he's, based on last season, he must play in midfield like every single game. It would be ideal, to be honest. He's still got it. He's still a wonderful footballer.
Yeah, it's a perfect stopgap, because I don't know what Man City want to do with their midfield, like where they want to go. Obviously, they tried the Bellingham, tried the Rice, like I said, and the Núñez, I thought would potentially be something different for your midfield to have, someone who's really good at driving the ball at pace and making things happen in that way, but it just hasn't worked out. So bring Gundogan back. It's not like when Man United brought back Ronaldo after all those years away. You clearly see he's at the back end of his career. He was only there 2 years ago, quote unquote, Gundogan. And bringing him back, I do think City will do like a year loan or maybe like a 2-year deal, just so that he can be there, help the squad. Because one thing that Gundogan was so good at, he was so clutch. He was so clutch for Man City, especially when no one else.
Rom knows all about that.
And you know what I'm saying?
See, you didn't have to say that. No,
I know I didn't have to, but it was about desire.
You've even got a song. You've even got a song after him saying Scouser's guy. It was annoying.
But like he's so clutch for you guys, and I think this season more than any, you're gonna need those clutch moments more because 5 in a row is gonna be very difficult. Arsenal's gonna be on your ass, and you haven't made signings that maybe everyone else thought you would have to advance your squad because he is aging. De Bruyne, Walker, you can go through everyone. And most of those players have been there for a long time and they're getting on in terms of age. So, yeah, you're going to need a refresh. But right now, it looks like you're not going to be doing anything significant from what we can see. Gundogan, perfect stopgap because he already knows the system anyway. So it's not going to be a massive adjustment period for him either.
Yeah, exactly. And he doesn't have to play every single game as well. Like we do have a squad at the end of the day. And yeah, I totally agree. Ari stopgap. As long as the thinking is, okay, and next season, that's when we will spend big on X player. Again, whoever that may be. We didn't fancy the price tag of Bruno Guimaraes. I thought that was a mistake. Maybe next season it'll be more amicable. Maybe next season we go for Adam Wharton or, again, someone like that. And then Gundogan's phased out or is given a coaching role or whatever. But in terms of like, if the point is, or rather, if the choice is no signing or Gundogan for a year or two, I know which one I'm picking every single time.
Do you not think you've got someone in the City squad already that can step up next season? Like O'Reilly or someone like that in the midfield?
O'Reilly is very, very young. I think he's either 17 or 19. So he's nowhere near ready yet, if indeed he ever will get.
James
McAtee?
Yeah.
Yes, good player. I actually thought, when I saw him and Palmer, flashes for them at City, I actually preferred McAtee as a player, to be honest. So there's a very good player in there, but he's a very different sort of player to a Gundogan. I don't know if McAtee would ever develop into that all-round midfielder. I think McAtee's future is destined more higher up the pitch, to be honest. So I think that unless it's an academy player I'm unaware of, probably not. And again, we need someone who's able to win now because City are City and they want to win now, and that's why my number one choice is Bruno.
Do you think Gundogan will be your last signing? Do you not think you bring a forward in?
I'm of the view we don't need a forward because I know Bob broke his leg, which is very unfortunate. But if Haaland's out, we can play false nine. We've got Foden who can do it brilliantly. If we bring in Gundogan, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, these players all did this a couple of years ago, in the 2020-21 season or that 2-year period where he played false nine. So I think it would be a mistake to bring in like a backup 9 who barely plays because Haaland's going to play every single game. And then the real question becomes, if they're happy to sit on the bench, then are they really of the quality that City are after? Surely a player of that quality would want to be playing. But then you're in a situation with Alvarez where he just wants to leave because he knows he needs to be starting. So I'd rather we just have a more balanced, fluid forward line, to be honest, which I say Bob false 9, Foden false 9, etc.
That's fair.
Yeah, makes sense. I think it's a good returning player, as KJ said. It's not as though he's been away for 5-6 years, well past his best, and it's sort of coming back for nostalgia. I'm not too sure on his reasons for wanting to leave. I haven't really read those articles today. I just saw that you guys were looking at him, but I'm not surprised he's leaving Barca. They're still a bit of a mess. They look like.
I saw a report. Apparently, he doesn't actually want to leave. It's the Barca hierarchy trying to force him out. That's what I was seeing as well. So I wouldn't be surprised either. Because
they tried doing that
probably.
Yeah, they tried doing that to De Jong a couple of seasons ago, but nobody else, including Man United, was willing to pay him the £700,000 a week wages he was on. But they accepted that bid. So we again, I keep getting told by weirdos online that Barca don't have financial difficulties, and yet. It's so like they come in my DM and go, "Why are you lying about our finances?" I'm not, bro. I'm listening to your owner. Do you know what I mean? They're forcing players out because they can't afford to register others, but there's no issues. It's weird.
But Terry, don't you find it weird? We've been hearing for like 3-4 years now that Barca don't have money, but they almost still sign players every summer.
So as I said, they've got money, but they've got issues. What I'm saying is they are sailing so close to the wind that. The fact they're having to force people out. I swear last summer they signed 2 or 3 players but didn't register them for like 8 weeks until they had raised more money, as an example. So they're sailing very close to the wind all the time when it comes to these players. And
you bought that Victor Rock. Is it Roque?
He's Brazilian.
They bought him last season. The man trying to ship him out already. It's
they're
crazy.
not selling academy players. That's what Madrid, because their C team comes after 18 months, goes into the B team, and then you eventually move into the first team and they sell the academy player. Barca aren't selling academy talent.
But that's all I got.
That's the you'd think that if a bid come in for Gavi or Pedri, that if it's a decent fee, they take it, but they're not selling anyone.
Because they can't. Those are the academy players are their best players. So to get rid of them, they're to get this money sort of position now, but you can't replace them.
And KJ, correct me if I'm wrong. I swear they put like Gavi and Pedri on astronomical what do you call it? Release clauses.
Yeah,
their release clauses.
Yeah,
they're crazy.
That league's like that in general, though. Militao's got an 850 million release clause. No one on planet Earth is ever going to pay 850 million pounds for Militao.
Yeah, it wouldn't cost that much either, but that's just to stop anybody from. If PSR and FFP rules disappeared, Newcastle's owners might, because that's still chump change to them. Every other billionaire owner, that's a lot of money. To those mofos, that is literally. Let me just check my wallet for a second. Do you know what I mean?